would like to show you a little video about the Skolkovo Innovation Center. And but first of all, I would like to say that there are 5 clusters in Skolkovo. 5 clusters, 5 topics: IT cluster, energy cluster, space cluster, nuclear cluster, and biomed cluster, one of the biggest and one of the most important clusters of Skolkovo. And this is the cluster, biomed cluster, where Andrei Zhimbayev is working with his company. And Skolkovo Innovation Center was created 10 years ago, and now it was chosen by the Russian government as a partner of the Economic Development and Innovation Economy Program. And it's one of the most interesting and fun and funny and really exciting sites of innovation in Russia. So a little video about this innovative ecosystem in Moscow.
Let's begin.
Let's begin. Yes, become one of ours, and I have published published on in our chat the link to the Skolkovo Foundation, Skolkovo Innovation Center website. If you want to get more information about it, we are always ready to give it to you. Thank you so much for this short introducing of our project, and the floor is yours, Vitaly.
Yes, thank you very much, Vera Georgievna. I'll just, well, you already pretty much said everything that was vital for our viewers and listeners to know. I'll just, well, remind you about the subject we're going to speak about. Well, it's very important thing. Well, it's medicine, but not the coronavirus this time. I guess, well, pretty much everyone is tired from speaking about coronavirus. And unfortunately, this virus is not the only problem that humanity is facing right now. And we've decided to talk on a very actual and very vital topic. This is neurodegeneration and brain damages, as well, I guess pretty much everyone knows, the humanity is getting older, and some interesting figures: 40% of Belgians are older than 70 years. So people in Europe, and fortunately in Russia as well, start to live longer. But as well as the consequence of this, humanity is facing this diseases, neurodegeneration diseases, brain damages more frequently, and these diseases are very hard to deal with. But there are people who try to fight this, and one of these people is our today's guest, Andrei Zhimbiev, who will tell us about what can be done right now, how high technologies can help us fight these diseases, and how they can help us make our lives and lives of our parents and grandparents better. So, Andrei, thank you very much for joining us today. The floor is yours. We are listening. And just one small thing: if we are open to discussion, if someone has questions, you're welcome to ask the questions in our chat, or if you are not shy, you can turn on your camera, you can turn on your microphone, and talk to us as well. We will be happy to listen to you, to answer your questions, to listen to your remarks. Why not? So, Andrei, you're welcome.
Thank you. You hear me well?
Yes, we do.
Oh, okay, great. So thank you for invitation. Happy to see everyone. Nice to meet you, everyone, especially Vera. I think we met with Vera maybe several years ago in Skolkovo.
I guess so, yeah.
At the beginning of my journey, Skolkovo journey. Yeah, so we started working in Skolkovo in 2016. Our main business is development of rapid tests for assessment of the brain damage, which the brilliant technology from the brilliant scientists who are actually Russian scientists from St. Petersburg Institute of Human Brain, where they start their development in early 90s. And then they moved to United States in early 2000s, and then moved back to Moscow, where in 2016, I'm sorry, in 2014, we received a Skolkovo status, which grants our a lot of incentives like zero taxes, grant funding for research, and all other benefits. And we start the company and start our laboratory in 2016. So I will share my screen to show you the presentation. Okay. Yes, how I...
There is a little green button, yeah.
Yeah. So do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes,
okay, great. Yeah, great. So our company is called DRD Biotech, which stands by the diagnostic reagents and devices. So we're developing the diagnostic tests for in vitro diagnostics. Our main area is brain damage. The two main areas of focus, it's human brain stroke and traumatic brain injury. During these years, we have developed a lot of tests, but especially we are proud for 4 tests, or 4 prototypes of tests, which one of them is already approved by Russian FDA, and it became a first approved medical device in the world, which focuses to the stroke prevention. I mean, the diagnostic test for stroke prevention. 3 other devices right now on the stage of clinical trials, and we hope we will receive the market approval in the Russia next year. And our next plans and next steps is go with these products to other markets, for example, China, which has a a huge problem with the strokes, especially because of elderly population, because there is approximately 400 million people older than 35 years old, and more than 200 million people older than 60 years old. So this became a big problem for the China, and actually China are in the top list of severity of stroke and mortality rate as well. And the second step, we're thinking about the European market as well, especially Germany, especially the Italy, Spain, the markets where the life expectancy is high, more than 75 years old, and a big rate of strokes as well. So there is a several main problems in the stroke management. First of all, the problem that the stroke is it's a 50 million cases each year. The stroke is the #1 reason for long-term disability. The 1 billion people worldwide are at risk due to the lifestyle, due to the chronic diseases, such as diabetes, such as atherosclerosis, such as hypertension, smoking, alcohol intake, etc. And stroke, this is a huge medical expenses and huge social expenses. For example, the Americans in the United States, they paid $74 billion for stroke-related medical costs and disability. So this became a big problem worldwide. In Russia, the direct cost is approximately 57 billion rubles. It was the statistics of 2015. I believe that this year's it's much bigger, maybe in several times. In the same time, in Russia, we have 500,000 cases of stroke cases per year. The two main problems, first of all, in the acute stroke management, the problem is the long door-to treatment time. When the ambulance arrived to the patient site, they making a decision what is it a stroke or is it a different condition, and is it an ischemic stroke or is it a hemorrhagic stroke? This is crucial questions which actually affect the treatment strategy. For example, if it's ischemic stroke, the patient should, as fast as possible, to the thrombolysis therapy. If it's a hemorrhagic stroke, the patient should be delivered to the neurosurgery unit. And these crucial decisions are made in the ambulance car. But in the ambulance car, the doctors, the paramedics don't have much instruments to make this decision. Therefore, it's very important to have instrumental diagnostic tools to make such a decision, to speed up decision making, to speed up the delivery of patient to the right place of care. Another problem, this problem related to the stroke prevention. As I said, 1 billion people worldwide are at risk. But the statistics and research shows us that 80% of all strokes are preventable if we will have a prophylactic treatment, if we will have a prevention instruments such as early diagnostics. And my company, based on the brilliant research, developing the 4 products which related to the 4 areas. First of all, it's a stroke prevention test, which is already registered in Russia, and we start sales last year, in autumn last year, actually. Another one, it's a rapid test for acute stroke management. to use it in ambulance car, in emergency departments. Third product, it's product for detection of concussion, of mild traumatic brain injury. And fourth, it's epilepsy test, which helps to determine the epilepsy or post-traumatic epilepsy. So as I said, in the stroke portfolio, we have two main areas. It's acute stroke management for ambulance, for emergency departments. And second one, it's for the stroke prevention, for annual medical checkups, for monitoring of the patients with the chronic diseases, especially with the cardiac diseases, such as atrial fibrillation, for example, which is very severe disease. The main risk of this disease, it's a stroke. In the area of the brain damage and traumatic brain injury area, we developing the test for mild traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic epilepsy. As well, due to the digitization era of and point of care and decentralization of the in vitro diagnostics, we as well developing the tools for telemedicine support, for test interpretation. We developed prototype of mobile application, which is use of the rapid test in home, and for sure we can use any point of care lateral flow reader, which a lot of on the market. And actually in this picture and in the right edge, you can see that the LRE medical reader from the Germany, which can be customized for to be used with our test. So now we will go to the technology, which is for sure very interesting topic, and always in my presentation receive a lot of questions. So our scientists, our chief scientist, Professor Dembinova Svetlana, she is a famous, well-known neuroscientist, and now she retired. And she lived in United States, but she a long time she worked in Institute of Human Brain in St. Petersburg. And she worked in Emory University in US, and Neurosurgery Institute of Burdanko in Moscow. And now she's working with her publications and books in brain injury biomarkers. So she's the author of more than 300 publications and clinical trials, research studies worldwide, and she published a lot of handbooks, which was published in Russia and in UK, United States as well. So she developed in the early 90s the biomarker, which became a biomarker of ischemic stroke. This biomarker is called NMDA receptor, NR2 subunit of NMDA receptor. This is a biomarker, a small receptor is located in the human brain, particularly in near the microvessels. So this receptor is involved in the microvessel activities, and when the ischemia or some ischemic event happens, due to the natural processes, those receptors is counted by proteases to the small part, to the proteins which pass through the blood-brain barrier to the blood flow, and then our immune system producing the antibodies against those peptides. So Professor Dembinova find the technology how she can measure the peptides, amount of peptides, NR2 peptides and NR2 antibodies, and she developed ELISA kit for this, and then during the last 15 years, these biomarkers, and these biomarkers are passed through dozens of different research studies in Russia, in US, and in Europe as well. And now last year we actually registered this biomarker, I mean NR2 antibody, for the stroke prevention in Russia. And I think next market will be China I think maybe next year, if everything will be okay with the COVID situation. So we will register it in China. So this biomarker shows a very good specificity and sensitivity performance. So the sensitivity specificity more than 90%. So this is very high for the biomarker. And this is a big potential to use it as a gold standard for the in vitro diagnostics in the acute stroke and maybe for the stroke prevention as well. So our main aim is to prove during our clinical trials, multicentral international clinical trials, that this biomarker is effective and cost effective to use as a golden standard. As I said, for the product which is already registered on the market for NR2 antibody, this is biomarker for the stroke prevention. So the main use of this biomarker of this product is two models of use, intended use. First of all, is screening. For example, we have a group of people with the same risk factors. For example, the people with the diabetes. For the doctor, all these people are almost like the same. So they have the same risk factor, diabetes. But someone will follow the diabetes therapy. Someone will not. Some have other diseases which doctor don't know and maybe patient don't know. A lot of different factors, multiple factors. And sometimes some people have micro events, micro ischemic events, which are not visible. And but our test can see on the biochemical level those minor events. And it helps the doctor to identify the group of people who have already these antibodies in the blood. Therefore, he has already the small ischemic events, which can be not visible on the MRI or CT scan, but visible on the biochemical level. And if this patients, he determined this group of patients, he can give them preventional, like a personalized treatment to prevent them from the stroke. And this is the first model. Another model is for monitoring, for example, the patient who received the therapy due, for example, to atrial fibrillation. They use a warfarin at the therapy, and they monitoring, for example, the coagulation each week or each month. And as I said earlier, in the atrial fibrillation, the main risk factor is stroke. Therefore, it would be very important to measure and monitor the level of NR2 antibodies with these patients to detect any kind of minor ischemic event which has happened with this patient, and it helps follow up the treatment, follow up dosage of the warfarin, or maybe add some anticoagulation treatment therapy, etc., to prevent patient from the stroke. For this first product, which is focused to the acute stroke, the main model of use, and actually for concussion as well, is to speed up the decision making when the ambulance car arrived to the patient's house, and make a decision to route the patient as fast as possible to the right place of care. We have some competitors in this area, some companies in Switzerland and in the United States. One biomarker is already on the market. It's a GFAP biomarker developed by Banyan Biomarkers, and as I know, sold to the Quidel and Abbott. Right now, this biomarker of traumatic brain injury. And other biomarkers for the stroke, which in development, and we actually on the same stage. But for our stroke prevention biomarker, we are already on the market and start sales in Russia. So we are a little bit ahead. The market of biomarkers of the brain damage is very big because of stroke, because of traumatic brain injury. So if, for example, the stroke is 15 million cases in the world, so concussion is approximately 40 million cases in the world each year. So it's a big problem. So I think there is a couple of slides which is maybe could be more interesting for like a financial background guys. I don't know, is it interesting for you guys? And maybe what is important to say that because we are a startup, actually we're looking for investors as well, and I think this important information that the rapid test and diagnostic test, it's a very good format as a product, because the direct and manufacturing cost of the one unit of the product is very cheap. It could be approximately like less than $1. So in this table, you see that the direct cost for one unit is 50 cents actually, and the manufacturer price could be $10, which is for sure, you know the prices in Europe, you know the prices in Moscow. This is cheap. So it's cheap test actually. So it says $10 right now, it's 700 rubles. So it's not a big amount of money. So it's on the market, but as a project, it's very margin. So our project was awarded for a lot of like prizes. Last year, we participated because of Skolkovo help us and support. We participate in Asian Entrepreneurship Award. We received a second prize there. We have a patent protection right now. We received last month actually we received a China patent, and last year we received US patents, and we have a Europe patent application which protect our intellectual property and PCT application. So our lab in Skolkovo is very nice. Right now we actually scale our laboratory. So we had 70 square meters laboratory, but now we have almost, I don't know, 300 square meters right now because of COVID. We actually developed our COVID test, yeah, and start sell it in Russian market. So we have a lot of orders, and we now training how to manufacture rapid tests. So I think when the COVID is over, we can start manufacturing very fast our stroke test. So as I say, we passed through a lot of clinical research studies. It was 30 clinical research studies. We already registered the product in Russian, let's call it Russian FDA. So that was actually milestones for 2020. Don't change these milestones. But I think due to COVID, we should maybe to postpone it to the 2021, because everything stopped in Russia. Especially we have in April, we all like hospitals like near like a stroke units was converted to the COVID units. So therefore we stopped all trials, paused them, and expecting to continue maybe in beginning of the next year. But we already received a China patent and received innovation pathway registration status in China FDA. So maybe in the beginning of the next year, we start the full registration process, which due to this innovation pathway will take 6 months. So therefore, it's good get optimistic view. We can receive the market registration in the 2021. This is very good in China. So this is our team. And these key members, this is our scientists and advisors, scientific advisors, the team from the Russia and United States. And oops, I lose my another team, so I lose another team members. Maybe I will check them here. There, no. Okay, no, in the next slide. So we have a very young team of biotechnologists, which graduated from the Moscow State University, Lomonosov State University biologists, and Moscow Lomonosov University of Chemical University. So right now it's a 15 biotechnologists, chemists, and medical doctors working in our team. And average age is 25, I guess, maybe 20, maybe 23. So very young team. But all of them bachelors and masters in biotech, very smart guys. We are happy to have this team. So I think this is the end.
So
I have a question.
right? Yes, thank you very much. We have, well, many questions. I see them. So I guess let's start with this one. You've just said that you are going to start sales in the European Union. Where are you going to start the sales? Is there Belgium in this list?
So I guess that we have a plans to receive a CE mark, and the first country where we would like to have authorized representative is Germany. Germany, because of the market. Germany is, I guess, market number 3 in the world on the in vitro diagnostic sales. Therefore, it would be for sure good to start from the Germany. And I guess the Germany is very close to the Belgium. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think if it will be in Germany, maybe in Belgium as well. Since the Europe is like open market.
It's not so far. It's too close.
Yeah, hopefully Europe stays an open market after the virus.
And I think next year only, because this year it's very complicated.
Yeah, sure.
This year everything is very complicated.
Yeah.
Okay, there are a lot of professional questions. I guess I'll try to translate them to English. Though there are some.
But we agreed that the questions in Russian will be answered in Russian, and questions in English will be answered in English. So you do not need to translate. But I see that Matthias Kovac who is our doctor, our friend of our center. He speaks Russian very well, so you understand the answers.
He will understand, yes, the answers in Russian. Okay, it will be a lot easier for me. Можно ли использовать экспресс-тесты для диагностики повреждений головного мозга у недоношенных новорожденных?
Хороший вопрос. Я так понимаю, что я на русском, да, должен отвечать?
Да.
Хорошо.
Не должны, но можете.
Могу. Ну, то есть Матя знает русский язык, да?
Да, очень хорошо.
Отлично. Хорошо. Значит, у нас, кстати, идет сейчас исследование как раз по недоношенным детям. У нас до ковида шло исследование в Омске. Замечательный доктор, фамилию я подзабыл, к сожалению. Как раз мы делали вот это исследование. Она проверяла, по-моему, порядка 30 недоношенных детей. И мы пока его, насколько я знаю, пока приостановили. Набор будет продолжен через некоторое время. Там, в планах, по-моему, 100 или больше 100 детей набрать. Собственно, наша задача была в этом исследовании как раз определить, может ли тест определять вот как раз повреждение, да, ишемию мозга, потому что, в принципе, насколько мы знаем, процессы именно биологические, там такие же, имеется в виду по деградации вот этого рецептора, да, и попаданию пептида, там единственное отличается процесс по выработке антител, потому что у детей там до 2 недель, до нескольких месяцев у них пока иммунная система еще не как бы включается, да, своя, поэтому антитела там в основном, если и есть, то они как бы от матери, получаются эти антитела. Вот, но мы как раз исследуем НР2 пептид у недоношенных детей и надеемся, что будет результат. Так, теоретически, конечно, мы ожидаем, что это возможно, надеемся, что это возможно. И, конечно, если будет возможность определять с помощью НР2 пептид у детей и, например, лимиты детекции, что очень важно, да, это лимиты детекции для экспресс-тестов особенно, если они будут больше, чем нанограмм на миллилитр, это содержание, я сейчас немножко глубоко углубился, да, но если они будут больше, чем нанограмм на миллилитр содержания этого маркера, то тогда мы в формате экспресс-теста это сможем сделать. Если же это будет меньшей концентрации, то это будет довольно сложно, и, скорее всего, можно будет делать только в лабораторных условиях уже на ИФА, на магнитном, который мы, собственно, вот используем. Вот, так что это в планах есть.
Отлично. Ну, будем ждать, конечно, это очень важная тоже тема. Спасибо. Now the question in English. How many % of the population and which groups need those tests?
Okay. So for the stroke test, I'm thinking that approximately we made a very rough calculation of 1 billion people from the 6 billion people. So it's, I don't know how much it's 20% of the population, maybe a little less, but I think 20% of the population has chronic diseases, or maybe the ages is more than 60 years old. Therefore, I think it would be benefit for them to use these tests.
В какой стадии развития ишемии наиболее применим тест на антитела?
Получается, что во время острой ишемии, острого ишемического инсульта вырабатывается, не вырабатывается, наверное, появляется НР2 пептид в крови, и он через некоторое время, в течение 24 часов, в частности, он протеазами и антителами, он, собственно, элиминируется. И если говорить про острый инсульт, то антитела, например, если ранее у человека не было инсультов или микроинсультов или транзиторно-ишемических атак, то эти антитела у него начинают появляться спустя 2 недели после, собственно, события. То есть с помощью антител вы можете оценить именно, было ли событие само. Вот. Если же у человека уже были транзиторно-ишемические атаки, микроинсульты, или у него там некая сложная форма хронической ишемии, то у него будет определенный фоновый уровень антител всегда присутствовать в крови. А если у него будет, например, он будет хорошо отвечать на терапию, то они будут со временем, титры антител будут уменьшаться. Если будет, соответственно, ситуация ухудшаться, то они будут повышаться. Вот. Но для, получается, пациентов, у которых риск инсульта, то есть или там какая-то степень хронической ишемии. Это такой термин больше в России распространен, он, наверное, скорее объединяет группу различных заболеваний и состояний. Поэтому, в общем, ну, как бы, грубо говоря, если у него осложнена его история болезни многочисленными микроишемическими процессами, то у него будет титр антител высокий. Если он будет лечиться, да, то фиксироваться, это будет ишемия, то у него будет снижаться этот титр антител. Надеюсь, я ответил на этот вопрос.
Мне кажется, да. Даже я понял. А я совершенно не сведущ в медицинских вопросах. In English now. Based on the results of the test, so if you try to create some kind of mathematic model, how many cases of ischemic stroke can be prevented using your methods?
This very interesting question. So I guess I hope and believe that we can answer that after we will finish our clinical trials where we show the like economic benefits of these tests. But my opinion is that for the acute stroke test, we can save patients from the severe disability. We can decrease the numbers of people who have a severe consequences from the stroke, because we speed up this process of the routing patients, so they start the treatment faster, save the life, save the patient from the long-term disability. For the prevention test, it's an important question, but I think if patients and doctors will have any tool which can help them monitor the state, like disease state, so it's very important, it can save the life. But right now they don't have this tool, so they have only like maybe MRI, which is quite expensive, and you can afford it to make it each month, so it's impossible. But for the $10 test, it's possible to make it each month, and you have a tool, and you can give this test to your grandparents, to your relatives, to help them to prevent the stroke. I don't know what the numbers, but I hope that these numbers will be 1 million per 1 million. So.
Есть ли возможность определения тестом площади распространения ишемии в ткани головного мозга? Вот я сейчас задал вопрос и не понял совершенно.
Получается, что в ходе наших клинических испытаний на нескольких пациентах мы видели корреляцию, где у нас были возможности сделать в нескольких точках, когда ишемия, собственно, увеличивалась. И мы видели взаимосвязь между титром пептида и размером очага ишемического инсульта. То есть такая взаимосвязь, она проглядывалась, да.
Как часто нужно делать экспресс-тест на антитела НР2 людям после 60 лет?
Вы знаете, наши неврологи, наши врачи, хотя я сам не врач, вот, но я с ними согласен в этом, что как минимум раз в год нужно делать, и если же были какие-то события, уже происходили, то нужно делать раз в месяц в течение первого года, и последующие года нужно делать хотя бы раз в квартал, раз в год тест.
So I guess this was the answer to the similar question. How often do you suggest testing in high-risk groups? So I guess the answer would be the same. Yes. So, well,
one in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 1 in a year. And if the patient already suffered from the stroke or any ischemic, like a minor event, he or she should make it each month during the first year, and maybe 1.25 in the next years.
С помощью теста можно определить степень повреждения мозга при инфекционных заболеваниях, менингиты, энцефалиты и так далее.
Если же в ходе этих заболеваний происходит ишемия мозга, сосудистая, как бы, да, то есть связанная с тем, что происходит гипоксия, грубо говоря, в той или иной части мозга, и эти пептиды повреждаются, то соответственно, этот пептид будет попадать в кровоток. Соответственно, мы исследований при менингитах, энцефалитах не проводили. Мы проверяли кросс-реактивность, видели, значит, что кросс-реактивности именно в тех диапазонах детекции, которые мы используем, их нет. То есть если же какие-то серьезные ишемические вторичные повреждения, они как бы бывают титры, но они, как сказать так, разнесены во времени, и у котов, то есть уровень отсечки там другой, поэтому наверное, можно ответить на этот вопрос так. Можно оценить ишемическое повреждение мозга при других состояниях, в том числе каких-то инфекционных заболеваний, в том случае, если они вызывают ишемию мозга. Вот, наверное, так я бы ответил.
Well, I personally have a question too. I would like to ask it in English so all our viewers will understand the answer. So, what is your business model? I understand that you are a business, so your ultimate goal is to earn money. But we're talking about health, about people's lives. So, how will be those tests accessible for the consumers? So will the consumers have to buy it necessary, or will there be some kind of program, some insurance programs, so they can receive these tests free or via an insurance or something like that? So will this be possible?
So I think yes. Sometime in the future, I think yes. For example, in Russia, we're already working to put this test to the reimbursement system, so it will be 100% free for the patients to receive the treatment or receive the annual medical checkups in Russia. So in other countries, depending on the reimbursement system as well, I think that maybe in United Kingdom it will be 100% free as well, because they have a obligatory or mandatory health system. I think in the United States it will be covered by for the patient that are related to the CMS, Central Medicare Solutions, so covered by the reimbursement system. But others should pay out of pocket, maybe 50%. I think in Japan, it will be covered by the government 50%. So it's all dependent on the reimbursement system. Usually the pathway for any medical device on the market, then first of all, we receive a approval to be on the market, which when we prove that we effective and safe for the patients. And the second step, every medical device developers, manufacturers trying to put this test to the reimbursement system and sign the reimbursement agreement with the government when the government will cover this cost. And usually in this matter, the manufacturer should prove that this test has economic benefits for the government. For example, if we will give this test for free to the patients with acute stroke, it will save a human life, which will benefit for the government because they're participating in this in the cycle of reproduction in an economic term. This could be important, and maybe you save the money because you don't the patient not in like a disabled, so government not pay for his treatment a lot of money, because we save time, because we give such benefits. And if we will prove this, therefore the government, I think, will reimburse this test, especially because it's very cheap.
Mm-hmm. So it can be beneficial. And one more question that is very interesting for me: is it hard for a company from Russia to win Western markets? So, well, you've already told that you have some rivals, but how do the officials, the markets, the consumers treat you, welcome you on their soil?
Usually, actually, when participating in a lot of events in the United States, especially I've been in the United States like last year, maybe 5-6 times in a year, participating in different conferences and different meetings and trying to search the investors. For sure, for investors, you support you to go to any market you want. Russia is Russian company is not the best, I mean, best investment place for these companies. I don't know why, because I'm personally thinking that we are not just a company which, you know, you can virtually call it like a company, but we are actually a group of people, group of scientists, doctors, businessmen who can work with the different races. Actually, we have a very diverse team. So myself, I'm half. My father is from Spain, and my mother from Burat Republic. So it's like a Mongolian. So I'm not a Russian at all. I mean, 0%. And we have a girl from Kalmykia. She's Asian, 100%. We have Jewish people, several people from the Jewish. We have several from Ukraine, several from the Tatar Republic. So very diversity. We're a group of people. It's not totally no sense when this smart, diverse, and very like a good team can't go to any place they want to go. So I don't see any problems. If we will have problems, we will find how to avoid that. So we can register the company in the Germany and register this product as a Germany company. But we are the group of people from Russia. It's not a problem, I think.
Innovation does not have nationality.
Yeah, I think all barriers are in our minds. So if you don't have barriers, it's much easier to live here.
I have at least 2 doctors here on the screen, our colleague Tatiana and Matthias. Should you ask a question or say something, please?
Matthias, how are you?
Matthias, maybe you.
По-русски или по-английски?
As you want.
I think it's really interesting. I didn't know anything about the protein NR2. But you know it. I knew something about the protein S100B, which is used in France. You know, do you have to scan, or do you scan or you don't scan the people coming with head trauma in the emergency? But I have a question about the protein. I see that it's really interesting from a medical point of view. So you screen for the stroke because, as you said, time is life. If it's an ischemic stroke, you have to give the thrombolysis as fast as possible. But what would be the interest giving that to the general population, this kind of test?
You mean so for the NR2 peptide for acute stroke is for professional use only?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting for the professionals because you have to decide, will you give the medication or you don't want because maybe it's an hemorrhagic stroke. But like, what would be the point giving the test to the whole and the general population, which is in your case the more interesting, as you said, Vitaly, for a business model?
So we have an NR2 antibody test for the general population for this like a stroke risk group, but for NR2 peptide for professional use only. So.
Okay. So, any more questions?
Татьяна Леонидовна, можно по-русски? Только микрофон включите.
Да, я включила. Мне интересно, вот, допустим, при выявлении инсульта, при выявлении ишемии в головном мозге, при положительном результате, через какие промежутки времени, как контролировать нужно, ну, то есть более эффективно? То есть это мониторинг через неделю, раз в неделю, мониторинг раз в 10 дней, раз в месяц.
Получается, что вы про NR2-пептид говорите, да? Или
Да. Угу.
Ну, про пептид, получается, он используется в машине скорой помощи или в приемном отделении сосудистого центра совместно с компьютерной томографией. Если это инсульты в ранние часы, то есть до 4 часов, Этот тест нужен для того, чтобы именно провести дифференциальную диагностику, да, то есть ишемический, геморрагический, смешанный, и принять решение, тромболизис это или нет. После чего мы рекомендуем делать тест этот на следующие сутки. Ну, можно, в принципе, делать на вторые, на третьи сутки этот тест, также, чтобы убедиться в том, что ишемия не прогрессирует.
Да,
ну,
да.
То есть обычно там на сутки делают МРТ, и можно после МРТ через сутки еще сделать тест, убедиться, что уровень НР2 пептида, он снизился, да, то есть он в течение 24 часов пропадает. Вот. И затем уже мониторировать антитела можно начинать со второй недели при выписке пациента и в течение первого года каждый месяц смотреть ответ на терапию и реабилитационные, собственно, мероприятия.
Возможно ли эти тесты использовать в личном пользовании? Допустим?
Самостоятельно.
Да, самостоятельно.
Ну вот как раз НР2 антитела мы хотим сделать, чтобы можно было для личного использования использовать. Это такой регуляторный вопрос, вот, потому что нам предстоит доказать, что обычный человек, неподготовленный, может делать этот тест безошибочно. А если мы это докажем, то это можно будет тогда использовать повсеместно, дома.
А какой процент ложноположительных, ложноотрицательных результатов у вас?
Ну вот по НР2 антителам сейчас в клинике 90% чувствительной специфичности. То есть таким образом меньше 10% у нас вот этих результатов ложноотрицательных.
Ложноотрицательных.
Да.
А для самостоятельного использования какой должен быть предельный процент неправильных?
Тут вопрос в том, что там помимо этого еще оценивается, может ли человек правильно выполнить инструкцию по применению. И, например, если он капает кровь в окошко, то не перепутает ли он окошко или, ну, в общем, такие вещи, моменты. Или там проколет себе палец и, например, от потери крови не потеряет сознание. Да? Ну, то есть там много таких как бы вещей, банальных достаточно, но они должны быть достаточно простые, чтобы любой неподготовленный человек, ну, такой user-friendly, да, то есть они должны, чтобы можно было делать кому угодно. И самое главное, как бы безошибочно, да, чтобы это...
А не думали ли вы над каким-то аппаратом типа глюкометра?
Ну, даже у меня был такой вопрос, что, в общем, похожие проблемы дают разработчиков глюкометра.
Человек перенес инсульт и контроль, чтобы это было не посещением ежемесячным врача, там, я не знаю, а вот именно контроль за уровнем.
Да, мы думали об этом, мы даже придумали мобильное приложение, вот я там быстро показывал слайд, который помогает для этого, либо мы можем встраивать этот тест практически в любое считывающее устройство экспресс-иммунохроматографических тестов. То есть есть на рынке там Европы, России, в том числе там, других стран, есть различные ридеры, да, считыватели, которые используются и для бытовых целей, и в больницах. И мы можем, в принципе, под любой ридер адаптировать наш тест или там ридер под тест. Вот это все возможно. Но ридер, к сожалению, это все-таки дополнительные затраты. Примерно это где-то $200 такой ридер может стоить, поэтому не все смогут позволить себе, конечно.
I guess it's very important, really. You are working with a noble aim because the strokes are really a very tough problem. I have recently a case of very strong stroke of one of our colleagues, Russian teachers here in Belgium. Her daughter, only 30 years old, and already very strong hemorrhagic stroke. So really, it's a very big problem, and not only for old people, for maybe all of us. We are concerned in great measure.
Yeah,
So,
especially in COVID-19. So everybody should know that 37% of death during the COVID is due to the embolic and thrombotic processes
yeah.
applications. So it can affect the brain as well. Yeah,
But you have the anti-COVID tests as well, I know.
Yeah, we already developed the antibody test for IgM, IgG, proprietary test. So it's not bought in China and packed and put some stickers on that. No, we are full cycle manufacturing of this test. And right now we go through the clinical trial for our antigen test. So it's a lateral flow as well, like a finger prick test for the antigen. It's a substitution of PCR. It's much cheaper than PCR, and you can use it everywhere. So I think maybe next month, I hope that in next month we will get the results of these trials. And this test will be paired with a D-dimer. So D-dimer, it's a biomarker of the thrombotic processes. So because the 37% death are due to the thrombotic processes, we think that this would be very important to put the two tests in one cassette. When like a person who are experiencing some respiratory disease like influenza or COVID, he don't know what he have. Is it influenza or it's a COVID? If it's a COVID, it's very important to measure D-dimer, even you're a young and strong person, because D-dimer is the thrombotic processes. You can't see the thrombotic processes until it's happened with you. Like a lung emboli, and you'll be dead. So, or stroke, even young people. So we thought that this is very important and developed these two tests. It would be paired tests, one cassette, two tests.
Okay, thank you so much. Maybe somebody wants to say something or make a little
remark.
Few words in conclusion.
Yeah. No,
if there are no more
any questions?
questions.
Well, I guess
I have a remark. I really enjoyed the video in the beginning of the lecture. It's really I really want to go to work there.
Yeah.
As soon as pandemic ends, you're very welcome.
We can recommend you some people there.
And what area you're a doctor?
Oh, I'm not a doctor yet. Thank you very much for the
you are very modest.
I'm in the last year of medicine here in Belgium, in the ULB, Free University of Brussels, and also the University of Ghent, which is like I have also some internships there. Mm-hmm. But I think I will go for internal medicine. So let's see.
I'm actually a financial guy. I'm not a doctor.
Why did you choose to work and to work into this, to go to this area of energy testing?
Maybe in my soul I am inventor.
Innovator.
Innovator, yeah, entrepreneur. I think the entrepreneur, and then when I meet this brilliant scientist, I was very inspired with their science actually. So I thought that it's so financial guys and investors need in any area. Entrepreneurs need in any area when you would like to, to put the product from the laboratory to the market. You should have a business guy in this process, because if you're a scientist, it's maybe complicated to you to focus on two types, like in science and business. Therefore, I think in my place right now, and I very enjoyed to work in the biotech and business. So it's very interesting area, because you helping to save lives and you making a business on the same time. So it's great.
But I guess all we need now, a Spanish Buratian financial guy working on the medicine for Skolkovo Innovation Center.
Thank you.
So.
Muchas gracias.
Mucho gusto. El gusto es nuestro. Perfect.
No, don't get too excited. We don't understand what you're talking about right now.
Очень приятно.
So we have about 200 people working, watching us right now on Facebook, and I think that we'll get more questions and more remarks, and we will be grateful if you can publish your presentation on our website. So we send us, please, some slides. We'll publish them with pleasure, and we'll keep you in touch for the following up of our first Russian Innovation Night in Brussels.
Wow.
Because maybe, yeah, I'm sure that there will be more interest to your project and your research, because really it's very, very important for all of us now. And we wish you a great success in your researches and in your business as well.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to meet you. Thank you for the invitation, and success to your innovation night.
So it was DRD Biotech and Andrzej Zhembiev, CEO from Skolkovo Innovation Center of Moscow, of Russia. And welcome everybody to watch this video on our YouTube channel. It will be published shortly. And if you want to get more information about the products and the researches of Andrzej Zhembiev, it's his team. So you're welcome. You can contact us on Belgium at rs.gov.ru or on our website, and we'll make a we'll put you in contact with Andrzej and his colleagues if you want to follow up their project.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. I hope that we will see in the nearest future, well, the time when it's possible to make such tests at home, because I'm sure that well, it can save lives, and that's the most important thing. So thank you very much. We wish you every success. We thank all our viewers, all our listeners, and stay tuned. At our website, you will find our program for the upcoming weeks and months. There is a lot of interesting things. So please check out our website and stay with us. And goodbye. See you later.
And Andrzej, if you are doing business in Germany, we are too close. Do not forget it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.